Good morning, Instagram. What is up, everyone? Splash here. It is, oh my gosh, it's been a few days. It is March 12th of 2020, and I'm feeling about 80% better from this flu that I had. So we're recording this for the podcast as well, so I may not communicate a lot with those. For those who are listening to the podcast, I'm recording this live on Instagram. It's kind of the way we're doing the show. We made some changes on here within the No Bullshit Blue Collar podcast. But I did this announcement on the page that we're going to be talking about something. So if you're a business owner, well, let's just put it this way. If you're human right now, you need to hear this. Now, the expressions I give you now are my own thoughts, are things that I believe, that I see, and that I've read about. I have been sick since probably this past Sunday, with the flu. In coincidence, I got sick when the coronavirus really hit the U.S., so who's to know if I actually had it or not? I didn't hit 104. I was about 102 for about 2 days. I feel better. I'm a little bit dizzy. But I want to talk about some things because Blue Collar World, for those of my followers on Instagram and that do listen to the podcast, just hear me out with what I'm saying. These are just my words of wisdom from you. I have lived through a lot of different things. I worked at Discover Card during 9/11. That was our building. We've talked about that before. Things like this don't impact, and I watch the markets. My wife is very white collar. She works in a corporate setting. She actually does the risk management for one of the biggest banks in the world. She's the VP of that department, so I've seen her be chaotic with this. So these next 10 minutes comments are just things that I want you to be savvy of. When we did the podcast and I started doing the Instagram videos, I wanted to generate stuff that was content that was important, but also that you could take, and listen and say, I could maybe incorporate that and or see how this is going to work. But first and foremost, let's just get to it. This coronavirus, it is going to affect all of us. Not on just a small level. It's going to affect a lot of us on a big level. And I know that you guys may not, but I've been in chat rooms I've been quarantined to my room for a week. Since Sunday. This is the first day I've actually been out of my room. I'm in my office, oh my gosh, which is just downstairs, 300 feet from you, if that. But I want to talk about this because you guys got to be prepared. Your employees, you business owners, whatever it is that you're doing, be prepared. There's going to be a lot of things that are changing. You influencers, whatever kind of business you're in, you need to prepare yourself for the next few things. What we've seen is something that a lot of you haven't seen or didn't think that you're going to see. Here's where you need to prepare. People have gone out, and this could be you, and have spent a lot of money on toilet paper, hand sanitizers, antibacterial stuff. I was at my wife went to the store and we ordered some stuff online. She didn't go, but she ordered stuff online. They're at macaroni and cheese. I like the simple things of life. People are spending a lot of money on stuff that they don't normally budget in, which means that they aren't going to have the money. People go and say, look, I think I'm feeling sick. And they go, which you should. If you feel sick, go to the doctor. But you should call beforehand, especially with this kind of epidemic that we're having. With that being said, the main point is this. The money you think you have on your books isn't there. Don't count all your eggs in a basket. Don't count the duck before the egg hatches kind of mentality with this. I've talked to painters even this morning, even up to 10 minutes ago, saying I've lost business because of people not being able to pay. It's going to happen to you. I'm here to fucking tell you it's going to happen to you. I don't care how packed your books look. I don't care if you think you have plenty of work for the next 6 months. Slow down and calm down. There's a handful of things I want you to be prepared for. One, you're going to call customers this year, probably starting within the next 35 days, maybe, we'll say 45 days, you're going to start to see this. Call someone, hey, let's just say you are Sally and Joe's Painting Company or Bob's Bulldozer Company. Yeah, I have little kids who watch Bob the Builder sometimes. But you call, you're getting ready to go there. Hey, we're scheduled to start your job. Hey, you know what, Mr. Contractor, Mrs. Contractor, I don't have the money for that. One, don't ask the customer why they don't have the money. First off, that's not your fucking place. More importantly, Ask them what their concern is with it. Where are you at financially to get to pay this? Now, watch how I said that. It's not, where's your money at? Where are you at financially? You may have given them an $8,000 bid. They may have budgeted $8,000 and had it ready for their credit card or from their taxes. Well, now they only have $6,000. That falls on you then to determine, is making $6,000 on a job that you bid $8,000, knowing that that's what the job entails, worth taking some money instead of no money? It's knowing. First and foremost, this whole thing is having the right conversations. Now, business owners, speaking directly to you, this is a big thing that you have to be prepared for. You have to understand that your customers that you are getting ready to work with aren't going to have all that money right now. They're just not. Unfortunately, this epidemic is going to cause a lot of people to fall behind on mortgages, on car payments, on credit card payments, on maybe bankruptcies they've had, and or possibly push them to file bankruptcy. I know you're thinking, Splash, that's fucking ridiculous. I'm not lying to you. This is going to impact a lot of us. Every single one of us is going to have a customer who no longer is going to be able to do business with us due to their financial situation because of the corona thing. I'm not blowing steam to scare you. I'm just trying to have a conversation to help you understand how you get around that. So there's that original topic. You have an $8,000 job. You call Mr. and Mrs. homeowner or contractor that you're getting ready to do work. Hey, I don't have that $8,000. We're not going to be able to do this job. Okay, that's fine. I understand that. Where are you at financially where this could be affordable to you? That's probably the simplest way and the nicest way without being invasive or attacking that customer. But saying, hey, financially, where are you at? Where do we need to be at? Let me see if I can get to where you're at right now, because I know you want to get the job done. I have you on the books to get it done. Where are you at? Well, I'm at $6,000. I'm $2,000 short. Okay, let me look at my numbers. Let me get back to you. Hang up the phone, text message. Don't be aggravated. Then, if you're a business owner that has employees, this is the second part of this conversation. You need to alert your employees right now. If you have a crew, if you have a crew, whether you're subbing out or you have employees, you need to discuss with them very clearly. I don't care if you call it a toolbox meeting, a bucket box meeting, a brush and roll meeting, a dig a hole meeting, whatever it is that you do. You need to have a conversation with your employees today and let them know a few things. One, if you feel like you're getting sick, stay home. We'll figure out. I'll make sure that there's work for you to make up. When you get back and better, you're probably going to have to work longer hours to make that up. Great. Second, we're going to lose some potential business this year. Bear with me. I may not be on the job site as much because I may have to go out and go fishing or hitting the pavement for more work, which is not a problem. But being smart and being very proactive right now is the most important thing you can do next to washing your hands and not touching money, physical money. Debit cards are okay, and see if I'll let you swipe it yourself. And knowing, like, bracing them and making them understand that you're not saying they're not going to get paid, but they need to be realistic that hours may be cut short. If you're an hourly guy or if you're a piece rate guy, you may need to make adjustments because, like I said, if you have an $8,000 bid and Joe customer only has $6,000 to pay you, as far as the way I see it as the contractor, I'm going to go ahead and make the $6,000 job work for me. And then you've already had this conversation with your employees, your crews, your subs, saying, hey guys, and be very transparent with them. Money and financials are very tricky with employees and other people, but you want to keep it human to the point of like, hey, listen, here's one of the jobs that one of our customers lost. We're still going to keep the same quality. You're not going to fucking lose the quality of work, guys. Listen to me. Just because you take a dip on a job does not mean you decrease the quality of work you're doing. You're still a professional. You're a badass blue collar, and you know this blue collar is literally just no bullshit. There is no bullshit about what we do. So maintain that quality of work you do. Your customer, you'll get these ones that your customers are, and they're going to pay that forward to you. Trust me, the universe works this way. It's just good business proxy. While you're doing that and you're having these conversations with them, let them know, hey, this job's a little bit short. I'm not going to be able to pay you guys the $15 an hour. Let's try to keep the quality and speed up the job. and keep you at the $20 an hour. If not, we'll have that discussion afterwards and break it down so that they know. Be very transparent if you're the owner or the person doing the bids for your company, whatever position you are, that is letting them know that. Then you can go fish, or I said hit the pavement and go there. The third thing, I think it's the third thing, I don't know what number we're on, we'll call it number 3, is because you know that you're gonna have customers lose you, and you're just gonna lose customers, period. They just don't have the money. It's okay. Let them know, hey, I'm gonna be back in touch with you in 6 months. If you get back up where you're ready for us, just give me a call and we'll get you back in our rotation. Let them know that, because one, it lets them know you're busy. 2, you let them know that they are human. Things happen. But this is a bigger epidemic than a lot of us seeing. This is going to actually come and go within 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We'll probably be talking about as much of this, but the ripple effect for 2 months of having this is going to be huge. Third thing, yeah. Minimize what you're spending on. I'm not the biggest financial guru. I have a background in it. Like I said, I lived through 9/11. I lost everything in my stock market, more than 6 figures when that happened. Just the way my investments were working. I was very young and aggressive in my investments. I survived. I'm good. But it goes back to what we talked about, I think on a live I did a few days ago, that the living simple right now is going to be your best friend. Not spending a lot of money going out. And I'm not trying to have you affect other businesses, but not spending a lot of money to go out and eat, not doing those little extracurricular things you may have. Because especially if you're a business owner and you have bills to pay, you have employees that you need to pick up, taxes that need to be paid, workman's comp, those bills just aren't going to stop. And hopefully these bigger corporations will understand that, you're working with them and you're going to do those things. But if you minimize the little excess spending you have from here and there, then by all means, go ahead and minimize those spending so that you have that money in the bank as liquid for you. And if in the event something does happen that you need to pull out and pay a little bit more to your guys, or, effective bills come up. These aren't the hardest these aren't the easiest conversations to have. These aren't the funnest type of podcast to listen to. I'm very, 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 very aware of that. But this is going to impact every line of business. I don't care what you're in, it's going to impact you, because you're going to see certain things skyrocket in price. Next thing you're going to see is it's going to hit our food market. Food market's huge, huge. Because what's the one thing that all of us do? There's certain things that as humans we do. We eat, we pay for gas, we pay electricity. Those are day-to-day things that we just function. Some of us eat more, some of us eat less. I know I'm a cookie monster, not the thinnest person. I like my food. But there's minimalization that you have. Be creative with your meals that you have. Be ready to save that money and not be out spending the significant amount you normally would. Which in turn, by the end of this, when this clears up in a few months, then you'll be really good as far as that. So to kind of put this in a nutshell, to recap what we're talking about, because I can sit and look at this for hours and have the conversation, and being sick during this time for me is not fun, because I haven't been tested for it. I don't feel like I have it. I have the flu. It is what it is. But as I've been sitting here watching the markets, listening to, when my wife gets off work, listening to like the minimal conversation she does have with me about how this is impacting, and she does risk for what she does. This is not just going to affect you if you have it. You may never get sick. You may never be around a single soul that is sick. But your customers, because that's how we're paid as blue-collar people, we have customers. They, unfortunately, and this may include you, and if it does, don't take this wrong way, just take it as Splash being himself. You're going haywire spending this extra money on millions of dollars of toilet paper and bullshit that you don't need. You don't need to go to the store and buy every bar of soap or every hand sanitizer, because guess what, motherfucker? Just because you have it doesn't mean the rest of us don't have it. We still need it. And if we aren't washing your hands and you come around us, I don't care how much bacteria you have, it ain't going to save you. It just helps minimize it. So be smart with that. But just be prepared that when those customers don't have the funds and you get that, hey, we're not ready to go, be polite, be positive in that, see if whatever that dollar is. It may be $1,000 off. Okay, great. Make that $1,000 work. Stretch what you need to stretch. Now, obviously, if it's a huge amount, then that makes sense to say, hey, look, you know what, contact us back. I'll reach back to you in 3 months, maybe see where you're at. But if you feel free to contact me when you feel you're back on your feet as well. That's just a really good positive way to handle that situation with your employees. Unfortunately, you're going to see people like, well, I'm going to go work for so-and-so because they have work. I'm telling you what, right now, employees, the grass isn't going to be greener. This is one of the situations that the grass is not greener on the other side. No matter what market you're in, no matter what blue-collar line of work you're in, that is not going to be greener on the side. If your boss is coming to you saying, hey, for the next month or two, we need to ride this storm out, we may shorten our hours. Instead of docking pay, like not paying as much as you normally would, you may have to shorten hours. Say, listen, I'm only going to give you 30 hours a week because that's all we're going to get paid to do on these things. As long as you can do that, but maintain the quality of work that you expect and that you should be giving your paying customers, then awesome. It's not, these are not fun times, and this shall pass as anything else. These trials that we have and tribulations that we go through are important because the strong will survive, and those that are weak are going to crawl and try to figure stuff out. And I want all of us to be those strong that survive and understand that, like, this is a small minute, but it's going to seem like forever. And, if you're doing your due diligence and doing everything, as I always tell you, do everything with honesty, you'll be totally fine. But that is my coronavirus, kind of a little PSA on how to maintain good business, things to watch. I mean, I have talked to, since Tuesday, just gotten messages from other contractors. It's been over 10, telling me, I've already lost business. I have people who say they can't pay me now. And this is just happening. That's a small percentage, of people who've reached out to me. Painters I have talked to, painters I haven't talked to that respect me and my business model and my hustle, and this is just barely starting. If you're having the NBA, the NCAA, sports, colleges, our Congress is not going on break. They're staying in Congress to figure this out. Then it's real, and you have to be realistic that it's not. If you have the mindset, I try to speak, manifest those things. If you tell yourself it's not going to hurt your business, that's great. But you also need to have a plan of how to handle situations when they come up. 3 guys this morning said, hey, I've already had customers call me, say they're not ready for us in the next 2 weeks anymore. Because if I'm saying this, they may be saying the same thing in their own family, saying, hey guys, we're going to halt on spending money because ... and just be respectful of that. They'll still be on your books, but just have that proper conversation with them. But yeah, it's not a fun. I appreciate listening, and just know, like, these are just my own thoughts and my experiences in being a business owner and seeing it, being both white collar and blue collar, and seeing how this works. It's not always the easiest thing to do and to hear, but we need to be smart and know that we're taking precautions, basically, and don't lose your shit because a customer's like, oh, I can't have you, I can't work for you, or like one of them's like, well, the customer won't shake my hand. You gotta be human right now. Like, this sucks being in Utah and having a Utah Jazz player, Rudy Gobert, be the first one that was said that he's had it. Then 10 minutes ago, Donovan Mitchell, announced that he had coronavirus. He also plays for the Jazz, and he made a statement that his fellow basketball player that had it, Rudy, goofed around and wasn't really being cautious about it. Well, that's not their mentality as basketball players, to be cautious. It's just not, and so that's hard. For those who listen to the podcast, someone asked on Instagram, I'm worried about the trade shows. I need to get to those. I'm not worried about traveling myself, but I know that, I'll use my wife. She works for a U.S. bank, and she manages their risk, actually, which is the ironic thing about this all. For her trips that she had because she just traveled for work, they've canceled all of them. Microsoft has canceled everything. You have NBA teams canceling everything. And right now, I think I would just pay attention. If you've signed up for trade shows, you may want to reach out or at least check your email, because a lot of these companies are emailing, especially today. When you have the government declaring that it's this epidemic, we're 3 or 4 days away. Give it this weekend, probably by Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday at the latest. You're going to see a huge blow up of this across the U.S. because we're really close where Italy was, where Europe was, and we just tell along with them a little bit on these things. So it's going to hit. If the trade shows cancel, hopefully they get rescheduled. I mean, look at concerts. All the concerts we wanted to go to this year, done. Most of them have canceled. My twin brother was going to be here. Chris Young, they've canceled his. Zach Brown was going to be here. They canceled his. So a lot of these, for those that don't know what I look like, I get stopped in restaurants that I look like Chris Young. Not with the long hair anymore, but when I had short hair, I always got stopped that I look like him. But all these concerts are being canceled. Hockey, NHL hockey. The only sport that hasn't canceled anything is the NFL, because it's clear in August. So it's okay to forecast that way. But if you're worried about the trade shows and these other things, if you've signed up and registered, I'd reach out and say, hey, are we postponing it? Do we know? And I'm sure they're going to email you, because they're going to do their due diligence, because they have millions of dollars. At the end of the day, money is what runs this. But also, money has to stop sometimes. And it's actually healthy in a sense. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it is healthy to stop what you're doing and take a deep breath and I say recharge. Our bodies are like phones, thank you, Apple, for doing that. But our bodies are like phones where we have to, look at our bodies and say, okay, it's going to be charged. It's the same thing with business. Sometimes halting completely is really bad. You plug your phone in, you're so utilizing it. But sometimes if it just goes dead and you shut it off, it's okay for a minimum amount of time. Just be prepared for these things. The gentleman that's asking about the tool shows, I know he has a tool that he's trying to get out in the marketplace. You're not going to get a lot of people that are going to buy right now. Not saying that they won't, that your product's not that. But you have to think big picture. These companies or corporations are halting a lot of their travel for everybody. They're halting and saying, okay, let's hold on. And they're minimizing the amount of human contact they're having, which is ironically one of the weirdest things, because you think about it. Last Wednesday, I was in my state class getting how to make sure my license renewed in time. And there were 90 people in there, I think. And it was so I was touching shoulders with everybody. Who knows where I got my flu from? I'm looking at getting sick on Wednesday, I feel. And then shortly after that, my kids and wife had this 3 weeks ago. They had more of a stomach flu, and I didn't have. Mine's been all body. But just be prepared, have the proper communication. I guess that's the best way I can wrap this up, is as long as you're having the proper communication, you should be fine. But don't freak out. Don't go buy all the toilet paper. There's those, people that still need to wipe their arse. And the toilet paper thing, I really don't understand when it should have been Kleenexes. I mean, if I'm sick, toilet paper I wipe my arse with. I don't know the flu comes out my arse more so than it does out my mouth. Horrible visual there for you, but I'm being very realistic with you. When I heard about the toilet paper, I'm like, are you serious? This is for real? Toilet paper? I think all the Kleenexes should have been bought out, because I want to blow my nose, wipe my hands, antibacterial in my hands, and good to go. Toilet paper? I don't get it. It's just one of those things. I think someone saw a meme, passed that meme along, and the meme went down the trail, which is always not a fun time. But guys, this is just a special episode of No Bullshit Blue Collar Podcast. I appreciate it. Like I said last week, I'm going to be off and on. We're revamping some stuff. I did get some of the new stuff for the studio here. We're getting this put together here pretty soon. Once I feel 100% better, I'll be up and at it. Just be patient with everyone, your customers, and make sure you're talking to your employees that you know, and you've had the right conversation with your employees, letting them know that what possibly could be happening for the next month or two. It is going to be short-lived. It's not going to be long-lived. There will be those few stories that will impact a lot of us, but don't go overboard on it. Just breathe and know that everything's going to be okay. And once it's okay, it'll be back to business as usual. And then one side note to Bed Bath & Beyond, Bath & Body Works. Let's just put antibacterial in all of our soaps for the future. And I think restaurants should start having antibacterial everywhere, because those are really common places where we change a lot of money. If you had your soap that had that too, it'd be very helpful. I think it would help minimize. It's not going to protect 100%. That's why it only says 99%. But still, you get what I'm saying. But until next time, I'm your host. We should be back up on the podcast next week or two. Well, not next week or two. We'll be up next week. I may do a show tomorrow, but this is just a special episode. I wanted to have a conversation, being part of the blue collar tribe. I wanted to make sure that we understand, like, this is not going to be easy, and it will impact a huge percent of us in the 90 percentile. There'll be those few people that just doesn't. But it will be, and communication is going to be your key, and knowing how to communicate it. But until then, I'm your host, Splash, and I will chat with you all later.